What's up everyone, ColdFusion here, and welcome back to The Witcher 3. The last time we played this, I did the Ladies of the Wood quest, which is one of the main quests, and we got information on both Ciri and on Anna, the Baron's wife. So we'll have to relay that information back to him soon enough. But before we do that, I just wanted to spend some time to gather in the rest of the Griffin school gear. Shouldn't take very long. I might even get to do something else while I'm here. But for now, that's what we're gonna do. So let's go to his grave. Try and avoid these wolves. The hell was that frame drop? What? These frame drops, my dude. Oh! Blessing, holy shit. I'm sorry. Leave me alone. Dude, the Lesion's chasing me so far. Oh my god. Let me alone. Leave me. Christ. Dude, yeah, I don't know what happened there. See, this has happened with this game recently. Like, sometimes it'll just have random drops to like 30 FPS and it's annoying as fuck.
Might want to look around some.
So I was gonna say, I'm actually gonna read through the bestiary and the characters again, because we'll have some more information this time round. Cursed ones. Berserkers. Now finish your soup, or a berserker will come and swallow ye whole. Skellige mother scolding a child. Skellige legends speak of men known as berserkers, who transform into bears when overwhelmed by battle rage. In doing so, they lose all self-awareness, and are driven by a bloodlust which they must satiate in order to return to human form. Few believe these blood-curdling tales. However, not even in Skellige, where the inhabitants usually treat even the least probable legends with the utmost gravity. This indicates either that the berserkers are in fact mere figments of mead-sodden imaginations, or else that they have learned to hide their abilities from the rest of the islanders. The Skald's ballads indicate a berserker transformed in the heat of battle cannot be distinguished from a true-born bear. Only minute anatomical details, such as the shape of their tongues and teeth, reveal their secret. Descriptions of their fighting prowess paint them as invulnerable to pain and able to heal any wound received almost at once. If these men-turned bears truly do exist, one can suppose that, like werewolves and lycanthropes, they are particularly vulnerable to oils that harm cursed creatures. But if we are to give credence to ancient songs about these creatures' deeds, about the mass murders and massacres they have committed, we can only hope that no witcher will have to test this hypothesis. Right. We have a few more draconids here that have been added to the bestiary. Cockatrices. Had myself 8 heifers, 5 of them milchers. Then this cockatrice sprung up nearby, and now all's I got left's dried patties in an empty field. Jeffro, peasant from Pindal. Foolish superstitions claim cockatrices, like basilisks, can kill with their gaze alone. That is utter nonsense. However, a cockatrice's gaze can be being no more dangerous than that of an angry goose. One should instead watch out for its sharp beak and long tail, which it can whip to murderous effect. And the Shrieker. So, yeah, it also gives information about specific creatures that you'll take out during Witcher contracts as well. Heard you have a problem, a monster you call a Shrieker? Aye, prowls about it does, snatches cows and goats mostly, but it won't scorn a man if it runs into one. Conversation overheard at Crow's Perch. The monster tormenting the residents of Crow's Perch turned out to be a particularly nasty cockatrice. Geralt was not surprised the Baron's men had been unable to stop it. They could not possibly withstand the surgical precision of its strikes, which slice open arteries and provoke an outpouring of blood only the swallow potion could hope to stop. Neither did they know to force it to the ground with a crossbow, a bomb, or a sign, and then evade its charge by rolling under the monster's outstretched wing. Just when it seemed the villagers would have to learn to live in the shadow of a bloodthirsty beast, to always look to the sky with fear, the Witcher arrived and put an end to the Shrieker for good. Gargoyles. It just me, or is that gargoyle ogling us? Lara Estevan, burglar from Loch Muin. Gargoyles are stone statues brought to life by magic in order to guard mages' laboratories and lairs from intruders. Their appearance alone has scared off more than one prospective burglar. Those who do not take fright at the sight of these horned and winged monstrosities usually die shortly thereafter, torn to shreds by stony claws. Necrophages. Alguls. An Algul's basically a badass ghoul. Yarpen Zigrin, Dwarven warrior. Alguls differ from normal ghouls in size, strength, colouring, and most importantly intelligence. Whereas ghouls and graviers are primitive creatures unfit to plan even the simplest ambush, Alguls and their kindred, such as Scimitars, are capable of forethought and are thus much more dangerous. Grave hags. Cremation. Now that's one thing men could learn from gnomes. Burying bodies out in the fields? Why, it's like laying out a welcome mat for monsters. Best case scenario, some ghouls will sniff them out, eat their fill, and be on their ghoulish way. But if, gods forbid, a grave hag takes to feeding at your cemetery, you'll have no end of trouble. Jacques de Villepin, Oxenfurt Academy. Few monsters' names fit as well as the grave hags. As one might guess, these creatures resemble aged, deformed women and loiter near graveyards and battlefields. Grave hags feed on human corpses and in particular on the rotten marrow which they slurp from human bones, using their long, prehensile tongues. Once a hag has devoured all corpses within reach, she turns to killing men and burying them in the cemetery as she waits for them to decompose. This one will be new too. Ignis Fatus. Careful, sir. A monster prowls the bog. Enter the mist and you'll never see home again. Leslav, Peat Digger. The monster haunting the peat bogs of Velen turned out to be an ancient foglet. These are exceptionally long-lived creatures. Some have even dwelt on this earth for over 200 years, growing stronger and stronger all the while. Blows dealt by foglets of such an age carry so much power, blocking them is out of the question. These foglets possess the ability to move extremely quickly, and not even Erden can slow them down. Furthermore, they can meld completely into the mist, then suddenly rematerialize to strike from behind. Wearing heavy armor or making good use of the Quen sign is highly recommended. This ancient foglet proved particularly adept in the art of forming illusions. Only a professional monster slayer skilled with signs and swords could best such a foe. Luckily, Geralt fit that description perfectly. Mourned Heart. Somebody's doing some cooking. It's a human femur, a child, Geralt of Rivia. Most grave hags rarely attack humans, preferring instead to feed on the rotten remains they dig out of graves. Yet some individuals grow bold over the years, and begin sneaking into huts to steal children and kill the elderly. Just such a monster was tormenting the inhabitants of Linden Vale. The Witcher knew this grave hag would put up a fierce fight. He would have to watch out for her powerful claws, capable of smashing through any block or parry, and her long, venomous tongue. He also realized her attacks would be so quick not even his mutated reflexes would be able to keep pace, meaning only judicious use of the Erden sign would all him to survive and conquer. The outcome of the fight was not hard to predict. The grave hag perished in the very graveyard which had heretofore served as her feeding grounds, and her body was dumped in a grave she had dug with her own claws. Relics, so this is new. I think. Yeah, this is new. Relics hadn't popped up before. Crones. Sister crones, hand in hand, terrors of the sea and land. Thus do go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 3. I wonder what that's referencing in real life. The isolated corners of our world harbour creatures older than humans, older than academies and mages, older even than elves and dwarves. The crones of Crookback Bog are such creatures. No one knows their true names, nor what breed of monstrosity they in fact are. Common folk have given these 3 sisters the names Weavess, Brewess, and Wispess, and called the threesome the Ladies of the Wood, or simply the Good Ladies. The crones act as the true sovereigns of Velen, whose inhabitants they help survive through harsh times in return for unquestioning obedience. They wield powerful magic, but one different from that of mages. They draw power from water and earth and are bound to the land in which they live. The crones can hear everything that happens in their woods, predict the future, twist the threads of human lives, and bring blessings as well as curses. The crones seem for all intents and purposes to be immortal. Magic elixirs keep them from aging and allow them to take the appearance of young women. These elixirs and their mystical ties to the swamps in which they live also give them supernatural strength and vitality. Godlings. Not too long ago, the areas around peasant hamlets were chock full of guardian spirits. Today it's nigh unto impossible to spot a brownie, bucker, or lutin. And godlings, they are always the first to go. Such is the price we pay for civilization's forward march. From the preface to The World We Have Lost by Professor Dorigere. Godlings, sometimes mistaken for lutin, are woodland creatures dwelling in burrows and moss-covered hollow stumps on the outskirts of human settlements. They are similar to children in behaviour and appearance, and, like children, delight in mischief. Godlings are deeply rooted in their home territory and perform acts of care and guardianship to those dwelling near their burrows. They watch over people as well as animals, but shy creatures by nature, they try to do so while remaining unseen. Godlings are drawn to joy and innocence, and so delight in the company of children and usually only show themselves to the young. These hard-working and clever creatures gladly perform small services for those in their care, asking only for respect and payment in the form of food or cast-off tools in return. They are easily offended by churlish, ungrateful, or simply rude behaviour. Godlings also treasure their peace and quiet. When the village a godling watches over becomes too populous or its inhabitants forget the old ways, it will abandon its burrow for good and walk off to destinations unknown. Sylvans. Sylvans are cruel, greedy, and treacherous. Still, I prefer them to Dwan. Yevon, legendary Scoia'tael commander. Sylvans and Yakshas, a kindred species, are extremely rare woodland creatures whose appearance combines traits of goats and rotund men. These beings usually pose little danger, for they limit their contact with humans to playing harmless, though often bothersome, tricks and eating crops from their fields. Vampires. Echimaras. Bah, ain't nothing to fear. Echimaras, why, they ain't nothing more than overgrown bats. Anonymous city guardsman's last words. Brilliant. Like other vampires, Echimaras are not, despite what village gossips might say, undead humans. They are instead post-conjunction monsters who have no particular feelings about garlic, holy water, or religious symbols. Unlike their portrayals in ballads and legends, they look nothing like handsome pale aristocrats with charming eastern accents though. Like catechins and Nekarats, they do bear a strong resemblance to overgrown bats. They also do not suck blood from the necks of virgins with a delicate kiss-like bite. They tear them to shreds using long sharp claws and then slurp the splattered blood off the ground. Ekimaras are unusually cruel and exceptionally swift. They are able to quickly land blow after blow, capable of smashing even the best Mahakaman-made armor into tiny shards. They should be fought with a silver sword, remembering that they can regenerate back health over time. One should thus never attempt to tire them out or, gods forbid, wait for them to bleed to death. Instead, cut them down as quickly as possible, and if possible, burn the body to ash and scatter it to the four winds. Higher vampires. Men, the polite ones at least, would call me a monster, a blood-drinking freak, Emil Regis, higher vampire. Only a mutual thirst for blood links higher vampires to their distant and much more primitive cousins, Ekimaras, Alps, Catacans, and the like. Higher vampires are, in fact, much more similar to humans than to those bat-like blood slurpers. They not only resemble us in appearance, but also share our intelligence and behavioural patterns. This means they do not squat in distant forests or hide in the shadows. On the contrary, they are particularly fond of cities, where they live out deceivingly normal lives. Even witches are not capable of recognizing them at once, for their medallions remain perfectly motionless in the presence of higher vampires. Yet all these similarities should not blind us to an essential difference. Unlike men, higher vampires are immortal. Those who have faced them in combat and survived can be counted on one hand. It is a witcher's good fortune that higher vampires are extremely rare, and not all are dangerous to humans. Though they do have a taste for blood, they do not need to drink it to survive. Some higher vampires have renounced feeding on humans altogether and do no harm to anyone, but others give in to their desires. A witcher who braves fighting a higher vampire must bear in mind that he faces a monster endowed with incredible strength, one able to manipulate men and animals, turn invisible and transform into a giant bat, and furthermore, one which is nearly impossible to kill. In other words, even an experienced monster slayer should think twice before accepting a contract on one of these creatures, even if half a kingdom and a princess's hand is in the offering. Yeah. We will encounter some higher vampires eventually, and they are not to be trifled with. Absolute chads. Alright, what new character stuff? We're going to spend most of this part just talking about characters and the like. Annabelle. Geralt encountered this young woman's ghost in the uppermost room in the haunted tower on Fyke Isle. She told him that in life she had been the local lord's daughter. When enraged peasants stormed the tower, she feared they would ravage her honour if they found her alive, and so took a magic potion that put her in a corpse-like state of paralysis. When she awoke, she found herself lying amidst the bodies in her family and servants, unable to move. She watched in helpless horror as rats feasted on the piles of corpses and began to nibble on her as well. This grisly death must have somehow put a curse on her and the tower, for her ghost had wandered it in restless torment ever since. Geralt engaged his vast experience with such curses to search for a possible solution. Having learned that Annabelle had loved a simple fisherman named Graham, Geralt decided this man and the bond of true love the two youths shared could be their salvation. Perhaps there was something in the girl's words that had put Geralt on his guard, or perhaps his witcher instincts simply warned him in time. Either way, Geralt knew what he was dealing with was a literal second before Annabelle revealed her true nature. The spirit was in fact a pester, a plague maiden, a terrible wraith which spreads death and pestilence. Bruess. The crone known as Bruess was the middle of the three demonic sisters in terms of age, but the first in terms of size. Bruess was said to be a master concoctor of magical mixtures, and, in the more ghastly legends, was said to know over a dozen different recipes for human soup. Yummy. Graham. Graham was a simple fisherman from an even simpler village, Orreton, yet the role he had played in local events was anything but. Fyke Isle, the tower, the curse, he had been a key part of it all. Geralt had learned from Annabelle about the deep feelings the two had shared, and the rest of their tragic story only emerged later. Exactly how the young man had participated in the incident in the tower remained rather unclear. What was certain was that he tried to defend his beloved and fled Fyke Isle right after what he thought was her death. Graham filled Geralt in on the rest of the story, one in which youthful longing for happiness lost out to fate's cruelties and human greed. Having learned there was a slim chance he could save his beloved's ghost, the fisherman set out at once to help the Witcher lift the curse weighing down on the isle. Yet though the evil spell was indeed broken, this story still did not have a happy ending. Despite his courage and dedication, Graham died while saving the one he had never ceased to love. Gran. In times of war, one often encounters those who have suffered cruelly at the hands of fate. Geralt was thus not shocked to meet the woman who the children in the Vellum swamps called Gran, though she seemed to have suffered manifold unspecified ills. Whatever her was, it was clear she cared for the war orphans in her charge with love and devotion. Gran bore strange marks on her hands that burned with living fire. In time they proved to be signs of her indentured servitude to the crones. How exactly the old woman had come to be in their power, however, remained unknown. When Geralt saw the marks on the woman's hands, he quickly realized she must be the Bloody Baron's wife, though changed beyond all recognition by the hardships she had suffered. Geralt's first attempts to talk to her came to nothing. He was only able to break through her mistrust with the help of a godling named Johnny. A few words from the latter convinced Gran to help Geralt talk to the mysterious ladies of the wood. Imlerith. Imlerith, a general of the Wild Hunt and a frequent guest in Geralt's nightmares, had been chasing Ciri for quite some time, striving to deliver her to his ruler, Eredin. This powerful and brutal warrior had fought in the countless battles and campaigns for conquest waged by the An-El in other worlds. He prized physical confrontation above all else, seeking out direct, bloody skirmishes where opponents pit their strength, agility and training against each other in a contest to the death. Johnny. When the children in the swamp clearing first told Geralt about Johnny, the Witcher had every reason to suppose no such person actually existed. It was difficult to imagine anyone living in such inhospitable surroundings without quickly becoming food for drowners or water hags. Geralt thus suspected Johnny was the figment of childish imaginations, an imaginary friend for lonely orphans. Long years of experience, however, told him not to ignore any possible lead, so he decided to search the nearby swampland for any additional signs of Johnny. It turned out the orphans were not lying. Johnny really did exist. He was not a human child, but a godling, one of a rare breed of creatures that can be found scattered about the continent's wildernesses. Unfortunately, Johnny had lost his voice in circumstances he obviously could not explain, and so neither could he provide much in the way of answers to Geralt's questions. Once Geralt had helped him regain his voice, however, he talked up a veritable storm, giving the lie to all the tales of these legendary beings' supposed shyness. Johnny also agreed to convince Gran to put Geralt in touch with the ladies of the wood. I know from personal experience that a good heart, noble reflexes, and the wrong word at the wrong time can get a fellow in all sorts of trouble. Johnny learned this as well when he tried to intercede on Gran's behalf with the crones, and succeeded only in attracting their wrath. Letho. Some friends you see after many years apart, and you immediately develop a headache, not out of antipathy, but as a somatic premonition of the hangover sure to follow your drunken reunion. Seeing others, however, gives you an itching pain in your back and a desire to reach for your blade. For Geralt, Letho of Gullet had a foot in both of these camps. This renegade witcher of the School of the Viper had the blood of at least 2 Nordling kings on his hands, the fruit of his cooperation with Nilfgaard's emperor Emir var Emrys. Accused of these crimes, Geralt was forced to chase down Letho to clear his own name. Though both walked away from their final confrontation in the ruins of Lochmarine alive and unharmed, Geralt did not think he would ever see Letho again. It thus came as quite a shock when he happened across Letho in a barn loft somewhere in the war-ravaged Temerian borderlands. It turned out Letho's former employer was less than satisfied with his performance, and had set a variety of bloodhounds on his trail. In these circumstances, the presence of another Witcher to guard his back was more than welcome. Geralt remembered that the care Leffo had given Yennefer, and, in a show of solidarity, decided to help his former companion deal with his pursuers. In order to shake the hounds off his trail, Leffo had decided on a risky maneuver, faking his own death. His plan would have worked perfectly too, had Geralt's hero reflexes not been a tad overstrung, causing him to butcher any and all witnesses who might have spread the news. After that, there was nothing more for Leffo to do but disappear. Geralt proposed he hide out at Kaer Morhen for a while, and after a bit of thought, Leffo agreed. The Ghost in the Tree. The Whispering Hillock. If the world were not as it is, but as it should be, this name would denote a place of hidden nooks and lovers sharing heartfelt lies in hushed voices. Instead, it stood for danger and terror, for a place where wild animals, driven by some mysterious power, had killed many an inhabitant of Downwarren. Geralt agreed to investigate the problem, and soon discovered the animals were controlled by a spirit entrapped in a tree growing atop the hill. The spirit spoke to him in a woman's voice, and claimed to have once been a druidess who had kept watch over the Velen Grove until the crones murdered her and imprisoned her ghost in the tree. The forces of nature she had once served now protected her from the fiendish sister's further designs. The unfortunate locals had died as collateral damage, for, the spirit attested, nature's wrath is unrestrainable and distinguishes not between unwary innocence and unwelcome ill wishers. The spirit begged Geralt to lift her curse and free her from her torment. In exchange, she promised to rescue the orphans from the swamp clearing, who would otherwise face a cruel death at the hands of the crones. Yet too much innocent blood had been spilt on the Whispering Hillock. Geralt did not believe the spirit's explanation, and destroyed its cursed heart. In doing so, he expulsed it from this world for good. Zerad. News of the Nilfgaardian army's approach led nobles of all ranks and orders to pack up their silver and flee post-haste to safer harbours, abandoning all thoughts of defending their patrimony and leaving their lands at the invaders' mercy. Lord Zerad was no exception to this rule. The magnate had ruled much of Velen from his base at Crow's Perch before fleeing with his family to take shelter in a tower on Fyke Isle. The safety he sought there was not, however, to be found, and the massacre in which he was slaughtered became the source of a great many ghastly rumours and legends. According to one of them, Zerad, unmoved by human suffering, had his mage poison starving peasants who had come to him to beg for food. A hideous tale, yet one that sadly seemed plausible given the desperate conditions in the land. Yet the truth turned out, as is its wont, to be much simpler. Zerad was murdered by his traitorous former subjects, who were driven by greed, jealousy, and the base jacasserie that is all too widespread among the human race. Weavess. Though the youngest of the three crones, the Weavess was not one jot less ugly or evil than her older sisters. It was she who wove their magic tapestries of human hair gathered as tribute from the young children of nearby villages during their cutting ceremonies. These tapestries were how the worshippers of the Ladies of the Wood made contact with and paid homage to their deities. Whispers. The crones of Velen were not just old, they were literally ancient, having been around since the reign of the first human kings and possibly even since the coming of the elves. Of the three ghastly sisters, the Whispers was most ancient, or at least so claimed the swamp dwellers whispered legends. Whispered, for if they spoke too loudly the crone would hear it, for she demanded tribute in the form of human ears, which she hung from trees and through which, using primeval magic, she heard all that happened in the swamp. I think we already read this thing. Seems like I've read pretty much all of these. Alright. We spent a lot of time doing that. But fortunately, going for the gear shouldn't be too long. Oh, okay. Dimeridium ore, I'll take that. Make ingots out of that. Believe me, we're probably going to need Dimeridium ingots later on. Well, I say kind of, or maybe, we will. Especially, like, in the DLCs when I start to make, like, genuinely much stronger gear. Get the bear fat. Oh, okay. Bit of an antsy one you are. Damn it. I didn't realise I was actually in... I didn't realise I was in harm's way there. Alright, we're all good. Nekimara. This is our first vampire. I think I have vampire oil, right? Yes, I do. Do I have? I do have moon dust. Fuck! What the fuck? Wait, hold on a sec. Hold on just a moment. Is there a lesson here? There's a lesson! Oh! Dude, it's level 20 lesson! He came after me, again! You've got to be shitting me. Why is this guy fighting me? Fuck you! No, Alright, let me just kill this thing quickly. Oh, that killed it. Dude. Silence. We gotta dispose of this boy. This is gonna be hard. It's gonna be real hard. Like, Lessions have very, like, slow movesets. Yeah, I wouldn't... Geralt, please. This is not what I was expecting to happen. Like, this actually isn't good for me. This is just gonna waste tons of time. Like, this is not, like, Election's not supposed to follow me into this crypt when it was on the surface. This is against the rules. Fortunately, Leshens aren't too bad to deal with. Yeah, he's taking a decent bit of damage. It's gonna take a while, but we can do this. It gets staggered easily. Behind him. It's just a battle of attrition. I also can't see shit. I will say though, while we're on this topic, Leshens are probably some of my favourite like fictional creatures. Leshens are awesome. Just their design and everything. I'm gonna get good at swapping bombs constantly. I think I can equip more than one. While I'm in the middle of combat, I should say. Let's swap Northern Wind out with Dancing Star. I think I can consume potions directly from my inventory. What would be good here? Blizzard wouldn't help. Petrie's Filter, not really. I don't need Marivor Forest, I'm already at like high adrenaline. A decoction maybe? I'm not getting hit, so I don't think any of those would be useful. That was decent. No, this isn't too bad actually. Somi's 9 levels above me. Keep roaring at me. Don't do anything. You won't catch me complaining. Eesh. Oh, he throws it a little. Almost done. Wow, this ice effect's lasting quite a while. There we go. There we go. Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. I was just supposed to fight this Ekimara, and that was it. That was where it ends. But no. This homie just decided to drop on by for a friendly chat. And then kill me. Gee whiz. Witcher George's journal and the full Griffin armor set. Having heard rumours of a dragon, I raced at full speed to Velen. Sadly, I was dragged away from my hunt by the prefects of Gor's Velen. They summoned me as an expert to solve the riddle of a string of shipwrecks suspected to be the work of night wraiths. Seems a dragon ravaging the countryside is a lower priority than blocked trade routes. Luckily, I was able to solve the riddle of the lone lighthouse quickly and raced off after the dragon. I learned that the peasants from the ravaged villages had taken shelter in the elven catacombs under Lake Windammer. Wise. Yet they were not wise enough to bring firewood, and so warmed themselves by burning elven manuscripts. It aches my heart to think what knowledge about the older folk went up in those flames. At least a few of the manuscripts survived, including some highly interesting sketches of armour. Yet enough about that. Eyewitnesses have reported ashen scales, height at haunches, 2 fathoms, length 5 fathoms. Addendum, estimated weight approximately 14 quintals, able to maintain a high temperature in its bellows, dragon lungs, for longer than a quarter hour. Conclusion, we are dealing with a green dragon. Commencing hunt. Alright. So I will say that the Griffin armor is not the prettiest armor, but it's not one that I'm going to stick with
Something here.
like
Where's that
permanently.
artifact
And it
Kira
isn't
gave me?
that bad looking. There's definitely far worse like armor designs in this game than the Griffin armor set. Why is this red? Whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is there not something... Yes, there's a place of power up there. How do I get to it? Am I gonna have to do a Skyrim here and... I think I am. Fine with me. It's clearly not intentional, but alas.
Medallion's humming. Place of power. It's gotta be.
Now I need to search the Lord's Castle for the final bit. Yeah, this is... If my series on this game was an anime, this would be a filler episode. Because there's not a whole lot going on in terms of major events. I don't have a fast travel point there. That's fine. It's not too far from this location. Okay, I cannot summon Roach. This is a glitch that sometimes happens in this game. Whenever you like fast travel to a location or something, occasionally you might not be able to summon Roach. I'm double clicking the left stick multiple times. Nope, not working. It's just a bug, I'm afraid. I don't know. Thankfully, I don't have to run across the entire map to get to this locale. Come on, I don't want to fight wolves and dogs and shit. I don't care. Fuck off. Fuck off. Go away. I'm gonna have to kill him, aren't I?
Not bad.
Piss off. Wasting me time. Well, we are at the castle anyway. We are going to fight some Endrega. Where's my insectoid oil? Here it is. I do love getting staggered and stun locked. That's my favourite. Not annoying at all. Where'd this guy go?
Ugly
Hey,
bastard.
warrior. Yeah, I don't want to walk onto harpies that I can't attack from here. I've got plenty of space for loot. No need to worry about becoming over-encumbered. Ooh, hello. This is just a better version of what I'm wearing, really. Not that it matters, because I'm going to be getting the Griffin set soon enough. There's a note. Oh, fuck this, I'm not pronouncing all that. I do not speak Elvish, so I won't try. I think that's all there is here. Right. Where we gone up? Yeah, what a... I think harpies are hybrids. So let's use some hybrid oil. Which one is that? That's it. I can just, like, do a trade-off, really. Like that. Just let them break my Quen shield and I can get a one shot on them. That seems to work out the best. There's more? Alright. We good? Like to move on.
Harpies got their nest here.
I have to remember I still need to pick up the loot from that Indraga that I tried looting before. So hopefully I don't forget that. Ballstick's letter and the Griffin steel sword diagram. May the gods smile on you and me, sis. Now I'm asking you to read this careful, for what I got to say is important. As soon as you set hands on this writing, gallop off to that fence Kramer? I think Kramer. Well, it's based in Maribor. Tell him we've got some first-class gear and Witcher sword diagrams to sell. Aye, I can see you now, scratching your head, or more likely your arse, and asking, did I hear that right? You sure did. 'Twas my luck to come to care for a Witcher, what got one foot in the grave, and the other hovering right above. I was sat there looking at the poor man's suffering agony, and thought to myself, he don't need this kit and these papers where he's going. Well, for us, that's the fixings we need to get us started in the world of business. If we sell them for the right price, that is. Aye, I hear you fretting, so stop. I didn't take everything. In fact, nobody'll even realise or of his shite's missing. Sad though, ain't it? This Witcher's a good man. First he helped the Baronet solve the riddle of that lighthouse what was sending ships into the rocks. Then he killed that dragon and ate all the peasants. Problem is, a dragon's no easy pickings. Now a valiant hero got quite the licking taking it out. He's done for, that's certain. So as soon as they bury him in the tomb on Crookback Hills, I'll head straight for your place. Come to think of it, I'm curious how they'll put him in that crypt at all, for word is a vampire's made it its lair. P.S. I also lifted a few flasks off the Witcher, but since they're like not to survive the journey, reckon I'll sample them myself, see how Witcher Hooch goes down. Maybe we'll make a business out of that too. Your brother-in-law, A. Ballstick. So, he died because he drank a Witcher potion. It was too toxic for his body to ingest, and he just straight up died from it. Witcher George's confession. Okay, let's read this. I, the undersigned George of Kargan, a Witcher by trade, testify as follows. While travelling through Velen, I received a summons to provide professional testimony in the matter of the accused Bartislav of Lovefield. This Bartislav stands accused of causing several shipwrecks near the lighthouse, which it is his duty to keep. Ships led astray by errant signals from his lighthouse have repeatedly smashed against rocks near the shore, and the lighthouse keeper is held to be responsible for this state of affairs. During the trial, Bartislav testified that he was diligent in the fulfillment of his duties, and that the accidents were caused by night wraiths, deceiving sailors with their false glare. Having investigated the area, I can testify that I found no trace of night wraith activity. There are likewise no signs of noon wraiths, mamoons, air nymphs, or any other spectres in the habit of misleading wary travellers journeying by foot, sea, or horse. I did, however, find the catastrophe's true cause. They were not the fault of the night wraiths blamed by the accused, but neither were they the fault of the lighthouse keeper himself. The accidents were caused by local hooligans, who were taken to lighting fires on the hill at night, and then robbing the ships that subsequently wreck upon the shore. I was put on their trail by Bartislav's son, who showed me the ashes from their misleading fires. My testimony shows that the lighthouse keeper Bartislav of Lovefield is not guilty of the crimes of which he stands accused and should be freed. I also humbly ask for the bailiff to put the lighthouse keeper and his family under his protection, for, in light of the revelations Bartislav's son led me to discover, there will surely be certain parties with cause for vengeance. I cannot undertake the task of protecting the family myself, for I have accepted a contract to kill a dragon said to be lurking atop the Crookback Hills, and so must return there post-haste to kill the beast and complete my task. Signed, George of Kagan, Witcher. Transcribed by Vincenzo Stock, Marshal to the Royal Prefecture in Gorsvelen. Man, this George guy seemed like a pretty chill dude. F. Now we have the full Witcher Griffin set. That's good. Before we set off, I just want to loot this corpse. And I don't know if I have all the materials to craft it right now, but let's head to Crow's Perch to the Armourer. Now, depending on the level of Witcher gear you have or wish to craft, you'll need certain blacksmiths and armorers of certain skill levels. For example, if you want to craft if you want to get master crafted gear, you're gonna have to visit a master blacksmith or armorer. You can't just go to any amateur who just, works steel. They're not gonna be able to do it. I think I can go to the blacksmith in Oriton for the swords, but Fergus can do the armor.
Need some armor.
Griffin boots. It's medium weight gear, which is going to be good, so that it doesn't take long for my stamina to regen. Ignore that. It says items must be upgraded to Grandmaster level to unlock bonuses. I would say ignore that because, first off, I'm not going to be wearing the Grandmaster Griffin set. Second, when Grandmaster stuff is part of the second DLC expansion, Blood and Wine, that's way far away. I'm not going to worry about that. And I will be getting... There will be a Grandmaster set I will unlock, but that will be... It's not going to be the Griffin set, let's just put it that way. So let's grab the boots. Yeah, that's fine. Get the boots. I need a shirt, I'll just buy it. Gauntlets. And the trousers. Now that I have, the basic Griffin trousers, I can craft the enhanced ones, because I have the diagram for that. But of course, it's required level 18, so if I just upgraded this now, I can't wear it. I'd have to craft Griffin trousers again, which I could do, to be fair. I have the materials for it. I still haven't played Gwent with him. Let's equip this armor then. The stats pretty good. All of the Witcher gear means that you have resistance to damages from monsters, which is very useful. Again, they'll Witcher gear will have good stats. They are the Witcher gear in general is the best equipment you can get in the game. Well, look at it. It doesn't look that bad, does it? It's not the nicest design in the world, but it's pretty clean. And then I can, now that I've got Witcher gear, then I'm probably going to stick with for a little while. I can start putting glyphs into it. I'm going to put a Quen glyph, because I use Quen a lot. Can sell off a lot of these gear now. And then I just need to go and get my swords crafted.
How may I assist you?
Wouldn't mind a look at your stock.
let's just dismantle some of these to get some extra leather. It's always good to do so. And also, you know, just to save inventory space. Because these don't weigh anything, but the hides do weigh something, so I'd rather transmute them into something that not only doesn't take up space, but can also be useful.
So long.
If a man defies a pack solemnized, he'll be devoured by a wood snake, a boiled rat.
Maybe I should send my man to the creek. Might catch something.
Geralt, thanks for everything.
So let's head off to Oraton, because I think that's going to be I think the blacksmith there is competent enough to forge the swords that I need. Here's hoping. He's around this way.
Yeah?
Need something crafted. Can you take a look?
Actually, no, it doesn't look like it can. He's an amateur. God damn it. Who do I go to craft fucking Griffin gear? I actually don't remember. I know that I swear there is a... I swear there's someone in Velen who's capable of doing it. I think it needs to be a journeyman smith at least. It's a waste of time.
So long.
I swear there is. Why can't I put my finger on it? Let me just back out a little and take a look. Mid-cops, maybe? We can have a look at mid-cops. I can go to Oxenfurt. I think. Unless this guy's not a blacksmith and he's an armorer. I think there's a blacksmith here, right? Well, this is gonna suck if he's not.
Long live, etc., etc. Ah!
This side of the
He's an armorer. Ugh, cock. I legit hate this. Where are the blacksmiths? The good blacksmiths? Do they exist? Bruh. Alright, I think I'll just end it here then. I'll look for a blacksmith on my own time, I guess. I mean... I'm not sure. I swear there's supposed to be at least a journeyman blacksmith in Velen somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have to go to Novigrad before I get access to that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next part when we actually do something that's not filler. See you then. Peace.